And now for Black Mirror Episode 2, Playtest Review. Today's episode's hidden message, why Pokemon Go will eventually kill you. Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about Playtest, which is written by the malevolent mind of Charlie Brooker and directed by David Trachtenberg. So this episode revolves around the character Cooper, played by Wyatt Russell. He plays a backpacker who has suddenly up and left his mother, and on the European segment of his tour, whilst he's in London, he finds out that his cards have been stolen and that he has no money to get home. In order to make some quick cash to get home, he willingly participates in a Playtest demo by this big game manufacturer. And it's sort of this revolutionary technology. It's sort of an artificial virtual reality type technology which sort of taps into every person's individual fears, and it puts them in this sort of haunted house scenario. The aim of the game is for the player to last as long as possible before they get too scared. First thing I have to say about this is that Wyatt Russell does such a good job of helming this episode. He is so likable. Like, he's the stereotypical American. He's very goofy, he's very chatty, you know, he's a bit abrasive in places, and you do care for him as he goes on this journey. What also really sells this episode is that Wyatt Russell gives the most terrified performance ever, and you believe he is fucking freaked out. Like, he has to come face to face with like all of his worst fears, and like they start off like typical fears like arachnophobia to begin with. Anyone that has a fear of spiders might want to watch this episode with a friend because it does show some horrific eight-legged freak moments. And then it sort of brings up past memories of his childhood bully, and then it just delves even deeper into like the worst possible fear because it's revealed that Wyatt's father had early onset Alzheimer's, and the most paralyzing fear he can think of is that happening to him losing all his memories and like becoming no one and forgetting who he is. And that's where it gets proper fucked up. It's really harrowing to think that one day that you might lose everything that makes you you. And that's why this episode is so horrific, because it's a fear that people can relate to. And Trachtenberg does a really good job of instilling that sense of dread. He does a very good job of pointing out like horror trope techniques as well. There's a scene where Wyatt's in this game and there's this obvious shot where he's like looking in a cupboard to find some biscuits, and then he knows when he closes the door that, you know, there's going to be something on the other side. It's sort of very meta in its approach because it points out the obvious horror cliches, but it also adds a little twist to them each time. I don't know if I'd want to play this game myself because I feel like if it went into the deepest, darkest realms of my subconscious and my anxieties and my fears, I would probably just die from shock. I was scared enough watching it happen to him. So the only thing that I had a problem with Playtest was the ending. There were 3 separate times where I thought this episode was going to end, and each one of these endings was sort of like predictable twists. And the problem was that when each of them came, they all would have worked fine by themselves if they just sort of done one approach and that was it. But the fact they went with this one ending and then they had a revelation and then a final little twist at the end, it just didn't all work together. Like, they didn't all complement each other. This episode was great because it sort of captured the essence of an old horror film. And it was terrifying in places. And it wasn't so heavy on its overall message. It was just designed to sort of like freak you out and sort of give you an idea if you'd want to play a game like this, you know, even if the technology is not available yet. So guys, for Playtest, I'm going to give this episode an 8 out of 10. Thanks very much for watching, guys. If you're watching the Black Mirror series, please do comment below. Let me know what your favorite episode is. I'd really love to hear what you guys think is the best episode. For more things related to movies, TV, popcorn culture, I'm Luke Airfield. I'll see you next time.